Hi everyone, welcome back for another video. If you are new here, my name is John and I do planning, pen, and some arting types of videos. We have a little guest right now. She's made an appearance. We'll see how much she decides to stay, but you can see her right here. That's little Miss Lilatov, our little midnight kitty. But the reason we're here today is because of something I've been doing during the month of August. Since One Book July is over, and August was kind of a slow month, just about as slow as July was. But towards the end, it picked up a little bit due to my university teaching schedule. And I wanted to experiment with some sizes of notebooks that I've used over the past to see what I want to use for the remainder of the year. So you can see I have lots of things right here. I have a Chic Sparrow Narrow. I have a Chic Sparrow Old Size Personal, a Lady Falcon Traveler A6, a Chic Sparrow Classic Pocket, and a Foxy Fix No. 1 or Passport. And I used all of these this month. Now, my schedule was a lot less complicated than in previous years, so it was actually easy for me to do that. And I carried the same information in each of these. Now, I didn't go out and about that much, so I didn't have to carry all of these notebooks with me. When I did go out, I carried this cute little thing right here. It is a Chic Sparrow Nano, where I have all my cards and information, some cash, and a notebook. The notebook usually had shopping lists, grocery lists, stuff like that. So that was all I took when I went out. This was stuff that stayed home here on the dining room table or in my Rascan cart. Let's take a look at what I've done. And I'm going to need to move little Miss Lila in order for me to do this. Honey baby, come on. You need to go down. Go down. No. Come on. Oh my goodness. Oh. I tried to keep as close to the same planning style in each of the different sizes. Of course, some things work in the larger sizes that didn't work in the smaller sizes, and for that I will show. The size I thought I would get drawn to is my personal, as this is usually what I always come back to when I'm having a little bit of a planning, not a crisis, but just something needs to change. The thing I stuck with the most, well, I used them all, but the thing that I kept getting drawn to was this lovely A6 right here. And so let's take a look at the A6. And I will show you how I used the previous notebooks. Now I'm doing this right before the last week of August, and I'm still going to continue using all of them this last week. Since it's mainly, I'll be now finally teaching at both the universities I teach at, but my schedule this semester is online, at home, and a lot less contact hours than in previous years due to, new students taking gap year and all of that fun stuff. So this is something that is in all of the notebooks. There is a monthly planner, a monthly calendar, which has, we'll go to one that isn't filled yet. That has 2 pages of grid and then 2 pages of the month. And we're getting close towards High Holy Days. This is the last month of the Jewish calendar. This is Elul, which has Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, and Sukkot. Sukkot is in the next, but yeah, Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur are in Elul. So it's getting close to the end of the year for us. So I always have that, the 2 pages of grid and a monthly. In the larger sizes, in the A6, in the personal and in the standard Midori, I have the Ink Imperfection Monthly Tracker. I've had this insert in the various sizes, but I've never really used it, and so I wanted to kind of give it a try. My favorite dashboards, right here. It's the only decor I have. These are old postcards from Futurama. Kind of feels like the year right about now. I have my weekly planner, which is, I'll show you a blank one. The new one's back here for September. It's a week on a page and grid. Week on a page grid. I have the files undated and dated, and since I didn't have the one in A6 for August, I decided to just print my undated one and use that. And then the last thing I have in each of them are some sort of a grid notebook. I've actually filled the other notebooks that I had in here, so I have a new one that I printed. So that is what I had in all of the larger sizes. In the smaller sizes, like the pocket, I have the monthly, grid, and then the month. I had a weekly undated, and then I just had a field notes back here. And that's very similar to the setup, well, almost like the setup for my passport. I have the monthly. We've got the 2 pages of grid, and then the month, 2 pages of grid, and then the month. And then this is a little bit different. I decided, since a weekly doesn't really fit in here that well, what I have is a dot grid. I left the first few pages blank, but what I did, I'll get into talking about that. So I have a dot grid, Tomoe River paper, and then just a sketchbook. But the personal size, you can see I have the monthly, the dot grid, and the month. I actually didn't fill out this month. Maybe we'll do that. Dot grid, month. I thought I would get drawn to my personal because that's what I always do. And for some reason, the A6 kind of entranced me. Here's the tracker, which I didn't really, I did not grab my personal at all this week. And then here is my weekly. And again, this is an undated. Here we are for next week. And then let's just look at the standard real quick. So I have my monthly. Let's go to August. So you see I have my 2 pages of grid, the month. 2 pages of grid, September. Here is my May through, here we are right now. Actually, boop. Here is the week on a page with the grid. Week on a page with the grid for next week. And this is the dated version. And then here is the Ink Imperfection Monthly Tracker. And I have some of this to fill out for today. But let's take a look at the A6 because that's the one that I used the most frequently. So for my planning, I always keep a track of our bills, when they're due, when they've gotten paid. When they did get paid, I have a little dot next to them with a highlighter. I keep track of my no spend, low spend. And then I use my monthly for Just jotting down not the exact time for some things, but events that I have happening that day. And I do that for recurring, and I also do that for special events, just so I can see what all I have going on that day. I then will take that information and put it back here in the weekly. And I know a lot of people think that's repetitive, but I like to see it on a week as well. I need to see it here. So if someone says, if I'm needed for a concert or rehearsal or for teaching, which those are very rare nowadays, but I can say, oh, no, I can't do anything on the 14th. I have a meeting, and then I have temple. My day is full, or, oh, look, I have nothing on the 6th. Let's do it on the 6th, So that's my purpose for the monthly, is for keeping track of expenses and for a quick at a glance what my days, weeks, and months will look like. My weekly, you can go back to the very beginning of the month. I decided to do something. I'm normally not very good with monthly trackers, like the Ink Imperfections tracker. Actually, here, wait, I did the dishes, trash went out, and I did take my PM temperature. Okay. I'm normally not good at all with a big monthly tracker like this. Whenever I use the DIY fish inserts, this was the one thing that I'd get like a week, half a week in, and it would fall by the wayside. So something I decided to do is for a few of the tasks that I wanted to keep track of, I decided to put on the grid. So see how you have the week here, and then there's a page of grid. I decided to devote the top section of my grid page to my tasks. And so I just drew a simple little T with the days of the week, and then I put a check for when it gets done, and then I fill it in with a little dot on a day that it doesn't get done. But I use the week over here on this page to put in my little check boxes for the day, and that checkbox can be an event, like I have a meeting, or I have to teach, or it could be something's going live on YouTube, or some task that I have to do. And then something I decided to do was to create like a list of items that I'm waiting on. And so I just put a little box, what it is, and then when it did come, I put the day it arrived and a check. If it didn't arrive, I just put an arrow to move it forward to next week. And then, I then use the rest of the page for notes of some sort. And you can see that that is how I did every week in the month of August. And I really kept with the weekly tracking, and I think the weekly tracking then made it easier for me to fill out the monthly tracker, because all I'm doing is taking that same information here and putting it there, which will be nice to have at the end of a quarter or half of a year or a year. And again, you'll still see items I'm waiting on, the date they arrived, and I check them off, some notes. Sometimes I was putting a little quote there. I think this week I started with quotes. Yeah, I put a little quote. Here's, I guess, the third week. I did get some washi tape from Mindy Lacefield. It's her new Halloween tape, so I wanted to put it in there. That's the only decor that's in my insert. No drawing. I wanted to use everything as functional as possible. And then here is this week. We have a symphony concert coming up soon, which is interesting. But I have to take a COVID test on Monday the 24th. And so I've had to start checking my temperature in the morning and in the evening just to have a record of if I'm showing any symptoms or any of that fun stuff. And also if I have to go on campus to get stuff from the office, to meet with someone, which I'm not going to be doing, I have to do that stuff as well. So it's already good just to have a little track of it. And again, you'll see I have my tracker, my weekly tracker, items I'm waiting on, some to-dos, that's done. And you'll notice I've been using like one pen in here. This is the Pentel Energel pen. I first got these pens from a subscriber about a year or two ago. And I got these, the brown ones. And then I decided I wanted to get some in a finer point in black. And then discovering that they had these beautiful alloy ones. And so I took the brown ink that I love and put inside of here, and then have that black one waiting for another use. But I also have refills of these. And it's a really nice pen. If you haven't tried the Pentel Energel Alloy, they have them on Amazon. They're like anywhere between like $8 and $10, depending on the color. And they come in quite a variety of colors, and they're really great. And since they don't have a traditional rubber grippy, they actually slip in. Like, this is a tight pen loop. Look at that, they slip in so well. These ones with the grippy, you gotta, I've kind of stretched it out, but it fits in there beautifully. If you saw my insert video, how I make my inserts, then you'll know how and why I use these little bookmarks to find my spot. And I already have next week started. But I wanted to take a look in the personal so you can see how I go about planning. And something I started to do that I haven't done in the personal is in the monthly chart, I decided to draw these lines at the end of the Sunday so I know when the new week begins. So it was very interesting trying all of these different sizes at the same time. And the one that I thought I would come back to the most frequently, I didn't. I mean, I did keep up with some of my stuff in here, but like I don't even have next week set and ready to go. So I think I actually might just close that up and put that aside. Here's my next week set up ready to go in the pocket. One thing that's nice about the passport is you can just create in a dot grid what I did, just so you can see how differently this is. In some weeks, I just didn't come back to it other than for the weekly chart. I tried different things. Like here was the end of July, beginning of August, where I had a little line for each day and then a little chart down here at the bottom. If you can see that, I'll zoom in when I'm editing this. So you can see the little chart. But then I decided to do something different for the first full week of August, is I put my tracker here in the week, and then I put the items that I was waiting on, that I was expecting to come by the post or Amazon or whoever. And then what I tried to do was to do like little daily tracking. But I didn't pull back. I did my next week, the 10th through the 16th. And then here's this past week where I kind of did a little bit more, but not a lot. There's Friday, and then I have next week. And since this is Tomoe River paper, the ink takes a while to dry, so I used a Post-it note as a blotting sheet. And so there you can see that's next week. So we're all set for next week in the passport. But I really feel drawn to the A6. So right now I'm going to be making the intention that the A6 is going to be my planner for the remainder of the year. I'm liking the size. I'm liking this one. This is a beautiful A6, which I've had in a previous video by Monique at Falcon Travelers, or when I got mine, it was Lady Falcon Traveler. And it's you know, just a basic piece of Vegetan leather that she hands dyes. She hand stitched. You know, there's no pockets on the inside. Only thing is this riveted pen loop. So it's just, you know, a very basic A6 traveler's notebook. And one thing to note about Monique's is, you know, she really doesn't, unless you ask for like wide or extra room, she doesn't really provide that much extra space. And so I have in here, let's take a look. One insert, two insert, a dashboard with a very thin insert, a grid insert, my weekly insert for the remainder of the year. So that's the only insert I need for the remainder of the year. Then I have another grid insert, and then I have right here 2 Project Life cards, which I taped together, and then I used some sticker paper in the middle to put some Post-it notes and some stickers that I like, that I might use in the future. So that's kind of the experiment that I was doing this month of August, and of course my writing board. And it led for me to, you know, really trying and giving a good chance, a size that I started the beginning of 2019 in the A6 and lasted maybe 2 weeks. And I find so ironic as I went back to my personal size. You can see it's like the same width, just a little bit taller. So I find it interesting that this was what I was attracted to this month. And I'm gonna use it for the remainder of the year and see how I feel about that, and you know, see how this size will continue to work for me when things are hopefully opening up more and life returning to a little bit more of a normal. So there you are. That was my experiment. Standard, personal, A6, pocket, and passport. It was a lot. It was a lot to keep track of, but I always came back to this, and I knew this would have everything that I needed so I could disseminate into the other notebooks. Did you do anything fun and exciting with your planning this month of August? Did you try a new size? Did you go back to a tried and true size? Did you know, not plan? Did you plan? You know, let me know. Leave a comment in the description down below, and I will get back with you as soon as I can. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.